Imagine thinking that you found your golden ticket to the American dream from Russia. You marry a 61-year-old businessman, owner of restaurants, Florida real estate, and a fat 401k. Oh yeah, and crypto stacked to the moon. But you sign a prenup. I mean, of course you sign a prenup because you don't want anybody to think you married this man because of his money. And you walk into the US with a fresh Kia, designer drip, and a condo fully paid off back in Russia, where you came from, right? You think you're set for life, but marriage is hard. Problems eventually come like they always do in relationships, and you decide to disappear for months, only to reappear in court, asking that the prenup be tossed out and claiming that you deserve more. By the way, the marriage only lasted 1.5 years. Plot twist, this love story ends in tears.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
This video comes from Family Court Chaos and is entitled Younger Bride Tries to Get Prenup Thrown Out in Divorce Court Case. Let's go.
Are you married?
Yes.
To whom are you married?
Diana Gumliva.
When were you married?
We were married February 11th of 2023 at Fairway Estate Court in Valrico, Florida.
Okay. Did you have any children together?
No.
Is this your first marriage?
No.
Did you own property before the marriage?
Yes.
Did Ms. Gomliva own property before the marriage?
Yes.
And because of this, did the two of you decide to take any precautions in regard to protecting your property in the event of a divorce?
Yes. I had a prenup done prior to marriage by Steve Elkins. During that meeting, Deanna signed it. She also signed off on any assets moving forward after the marriage, because in her eyes, if the marriage didn't work, she wanted the divorce to be done so she didn't have to spend any equitable monies to fight it in court, as well as she didn't want people to think she married me for my money.
All right, so just to give you guys a bit of context here, at the top right there, of course, you have the husband who's currently being questioned by his attorney, who's down there at the bottom, and wife is the bottom left there, her interpreter in the middle, and the judge is at the top left with the flags in her background. Let's get back into it.
And did both of you...
Ms. Quist, she's raising her hand. Ms. O'Mealy, can you translate, please?
Yes, I want to ask to repeat the last phrase.
Mr. Vera, could you repeat what the last sentence you said?
Pertaining to Deanna signing off on future assets of the marriage, her reasoning to Steve Elkins was because of the fact that she didn't want to incur cost of a divorce. If the divorce was needed, it would be done. And she didn't want people to think that she married me for money. That's why she signed off on the prenup as well as the future assets of the marriage.
Он сказал, что у вас был договор, который вы подписали до заключения брака, чтобы если брак не сработает и у вас будет развод, чтобы люди не говорили, что вы вышли замуж за деньги, чтобы не тратить деньги на бракоразводный процесс.
Mr. Vera, so you were married in January of 2023 or February?
Yes, I was. I'm sorry, did I say January? It was February 11th, 2023,
Okay.
3 days before Valentine's Day.
When did Ms. Gomliva leave the marriage?
Anna left the United States to go back to her home country of Russia, to Moscow, to finish renovations of an apartment that she had bought prior to the marriage.
Is that what she told him? Right. She definitely didn't go to her boyfriend in Russia. She was renovating her apartment.
When was that?
That was in October of 23. I can't give you the exact date, but it was middle to end of October.
So she's remained with you as a marital couple for 7 or 8 months?
Yeah, I haven't seen her since she left to go to Russia in October of 23.
Okay.
I didn't even know that she was even back in the country until maybe November of 2024. I didn't even know she was here.
At the time of the marriage and the signing of the prenuptial agreement, What were your assets?
Oh, I got a lot. I had a lot. I own a couple restaurants in town. I own property in Florida. I own my 401ks with Morgan Stanley. I have my crypto accounts. I have my stock ownership when I sold my company job.com in 2020, December of 2021.
Let me
I
ask
just got a lot.
you a different way. Let me ask you a different way.
Yeah. Okay.
Were they all stated in the prenuptial agreement?
Yes, everything that all my assets were they were actually done prior to the prenup, and it was
Okay.
because I had a will and trust set up in case because I was having multiple back surgeries over the I lost my brother in 2017. And he didn't have a will or a trust. So therefore I did a will, a trust, because I had 3 major back surgeries and neck surgery from 2017 till August of 2023. And I wanted to make sure that all my assets and all that were protected. So that way, if something happened to me, they would be protected.
All right. So real quick, I want to make sure we understand what's going on here. We have a 61-year-old businessman who's going in and out of hospital to have back surgeries. This man is in the latter part of his life. Now, no matter your opinions about his decisions to entertain a young woman in her late 20s, and yes, that's how young she is in comparison to him. So there's a wide age gap there. This man still understood exactly what was happening here and the type of dynamic he was getting into. He understood that she most definitely was capitalizing on him because she found him economically attractive. That's all that this was. Here, which is the elephant in the room, is that the girl couldn't even maintain a marriage for 2 years, is now asking for his crypto, his restaurants, right? A part of his assets, everything that he built before he actually married her. Do you know that roughly 2 million people get married in the US every single year? And out of those 2 million people who get married, 600,000 wish they had this. And what is this? It's a prenuptial agreement. No, a lot of people have never actually seen a prenup in real life. A part of me does understand why so many future husbands make the mistake of not getting a prenuptial agreement, right? A lot of people think only rich people get prenups, and the process is often very complicated and expensive. In fact, when I got my prenup, I wish I had guidance on how to choose the right attorney, how to avoid costly mistakes, and also just how to walk into a conversation, a legal conversation, feeling confident. That's why I decided to create fathershaverights.com. If you need a prenup but don't know where to start, our step-by-step guide can help. Get the questions every future husband asks answered by expert attorney James Sexton and the lead attorney before you sign your prenup. At fathershaverights.com, we've simplified the entire process. No need to just take my word for it. You can check out hundreds of reviews of husbands who've prepared for their prenups the right way. Don't wait. Timing is everything when it comes to prenups. Hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and access your prenup guide today, and you get 25% off. All right, guys, that's it. Let's get back into the video. Despite the drama that we're about to get into, this prenup did save this man's life. And this is a great example of exactly that. Let's keep listening.
At the time of the signing of the prenuptial agreement, did Miss Guma list her assets?
Yes.
Okay. And did you state that she owned an apartment or owns an apartment in Moscow?
I helped her pay the apartment off in Moscow prior to our marriage. We got it all paid off. We bought almost all of the renovation materials prior to her coming to the United States for our marriage.
Wow.
Hold on, Mr. Vera, hold on. Ms. O'Malley, can you translate?
Да, он утверждает, что он участвовал в покупке материалов для ремонта вашей недвижимости в Москве и участвовал материально в этом ремонте и помогал вам. She's muted. I cannot hear what she's saying.
You're just translating at this point for Mr. Vera for Ms. Guma so she can understand what's being said.
They're like, F what she's saying. Just translate so we can get this clown show over with. Guys, I started this in the middle just to let you know. The judge went back and forth with that young 20-something-year-old Russian wife. She was like going back and forth with the judge. So she's already at that point where she's like, yeah, I don't really want to deal with this. Let's get this over with.
But I cannot hear if she understood me because she said something, but I cannot hear.
Okay, Ms. Gumaleva, did you understand?
Госпожа Гумилева, вы понимаете?
Да, я поняла, но это ложь.
She understood everything, but it's not true.
Well, that's fine, but this is not the time to bring that up. Just checking to make sure you understood.
Сейчас мы не будем обсуждать, мы просто убедимся, что вы поняли.
So with that, with her leaving, she went to go finish the renovation. There was still labor that needed to be done. There were some other things that needed to be purchased, but therefore I conceded that the apartment, because she bought it prior to us getting married, that would be her, hers, as well as any of her bank accounts that she had over in Russia, as well as I had bought her a 2015 Mercedes that she didn't like, and we sold it and got a Kia Seltos.
And I'm just going to follow up on that since we just touched on the subject. What?
Ms. Quist, hold on. Mr. Vera, could you repeat what you said and just slow down a little bit? Because I think it's the speed at which everyone is talking that's causing the difficulty.
I understand, Your Honor. And Deanna's English is better than what she wants to say. But anyways, during that time frame, she left to go back to Moscow to finish renovation of her place. I had already finished paying the apartment off. I had already bought about 70 to 80% of the materials needed. When she went back, there was other things that she needed to buy to finish a kitchen and bathroom and find labor. So
is it something that I need to interpret for her, or we can continue?
Ms. Gumaleva, do you understand?
Вы понимаете? She's saying something. I cannot hear.
Can you give a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Вы понимаете, скажите так или нет? I guess she understood.
Listen, guys, really follow what's going on here. Number one, of course, he's detailing what's known as a financial disclosure. That's a best practice for anybody that's ever gotten a prenuptial agreement, right? When you're dealing with attorneys, it's one of the first things that they let you know that, hey, you're going to have to disclose your finances. And he said he did that. That worries some men, but typically from what I've heard from attorneys speaking to me, and a lot of this information, of course, is available for you guys at fathershaverights.com. These don't have to be exact figures. Nevertheless, a disclosure of your finances are needed. He did that. Now, follow what's happening here because this is so important. You guys really want to pay attention to this, especially my passport bros. And since I'm not an attorney, this is not legal advice. If you want legal information, you know where to go to get that. But this is not that. This is just my opinion here based on what I've seen and learned over the past few years. She is right now putting on an act. And the act she's putting on benefits her. What is that? Pretending that she knows very little English is something that's becoming a lot more popular when it comes to men who are planning to get married and want to protect themselves with prenups. This is something more men aren't thinking about today that are tripping up a lot of guys who are getting married. Chances are this woman understands English fairly well, but it benefits her to sit here and act like, oh, I can barely understand what's going on. A lot of chicks do this. They may be given this type of advice from an attorney, or they may actually know that it may work to their benefit in this type of a situation. Now, of course, you want to make sure that a woman understands the prenuptial agreement and the document that she's signing. And one of the ways the attorneys at fathershaverights.com suggest you do this, if you're going to marry somebody who English is their second language, is to provide a second version of the prenuptial agreement that is in their first language. The language that they grew up speaking is a way that attorneys are protecting men more solidly with their prenups who marry foreign women. Now, if you're a man who's going to marry a foreign woman and you're wondering, well, how do I do that? I can't bore everybody here with that detailed instruction provided by expert attorneys. You know where to get the information. But I just gave you some modern tactics right now that can save another man's life who values marriage in our modern day. The good news is it doesn't sound like the judge in this situation is actually falling for this. Let's keep listening.
So with that being said, I that's hers. It was, she originally had bought it prior to the marriage, but she had probably about a $40,000, $50,000 debt on the property, which I helped her pay off. I also had given her a 2015 Mercedes. She didn't like it, so we sold it. We got her a 2022 Kia Seltos. So that way, when we went and we had the prenuptial set or signed, we listed the bank accounts, her own bank accounts, I believe it was her own bank accounts that was listed in that, as well as the 2015 Mercedes. But at that time, we still had it. We hadn't sold it yet, and the Moscow property.
I have a question for you, Mr. Vera. Just since you just brought up the Mercedes, you sold it and purchased a Kia for Ms. Guma?
Yes, I did, a Kia Seltos.
What happened to that car?
I moved my daughter and I used it to move, and we were parked on the side of the street, and somebody that had been drinking either passed out or was on their phone, and they ran into the back end of the Seltos, totaling it.
Is there
that vehicle sat from October till this happened December, I believe it was December 8th of 2024. The vehicle sat, and I would occasionally drive it because it's not good to let a car sit for over a year. And
it builds up rust. You don't want that. Damages the car. It could be worthless.
Not driving it.
And is there,
depending on the value of the car, of course.
Was the car insured?
Yes, I did all the insurance. And it was actually titled in both of our names because Deanna didn't go through and get a Michigan license in order to continue insurance. So I had to be the one to insure the vehicle. As a matter of fact, I think they took her off the insurance because she had been here since 2022, late fall of 2022. Or in America, we need to have our vehicles insured in case someone hits us, or in case the vehicle is damaged. It protects us as individuals in the car. If we're critically injured, it also protects the car being replaced. I paid for the insurance. I continue to pay for the insurance all through the marriage, which isn't an issue. So that way the vehicle would be properly covered during this time.
Just a quick question, Mr. Vera. How long have you known Diana Guma?
How long have I known her?
Yes.
I met her December 13th or 14th of 2020.
Have you ever had a problem communicating with her because of the language barrier?
No.
Thank you. Back to the car. So it was insured at the time it was.
By the way, it's really good he said no, because if he said yes, then she would have said, oh, so she has trouble understanding English.
Was hit.
Yes, it was.
Who was it insured by?
It was insured by Hanover Citizens.
Okay. And what have they done in regard to the car?
It's a total loss. At the time, I wasn't sure what the loss was. So, when Deanna got upset about the car being wrecked, I had indicated that there was about $17,000 worth of damage to the vehicle. And I had offered to give her that, or get her another vehicle to replace of close to the same value or the similar value or similar vehicle. Of course, she got upset and said I did it on purpose, which I don't know how that's possible. But it was total. The Citizen Hanover has been sending me numerous emails because they need to have the title signed off. But because both of it's not.
Mr. Vera, can you back up and slow down, please?
Okay, sorry. The Hanover has been asking me to provide a signed title back to them so they can close the case on the insurance claim. The title is, instead of it being Christian or Deanna, it reads Christian and Deanna. So therefore, I have to either have the court allow me to sign the title in behalf of Deanna, but it needs to be both our signatures in order for the case to be closed. they found out that they agreed to pay $25,000 for the damage of the vehicle.
And my understanding, Mr. Vera, is that the check will
He
be,
raised-
She has her hands raised. So back up a little bit, Mr. Vera.
I can
Okay.
repeat everything he's just said about
Okay, good. All right.
Since she doesn't understand English.
Which I have not done.
those names.
okay.
Yeah, which I have not done yet. So
Okay.
Он еще не поставил эту подпись.
And the $25,000 check will be given to Ms. Guma, correct?
that's correct, because I bought the vehicle for her as a gift. And on January 3rd, I told her that I would either try to, at the time, I thought it was only 17,000. Now, since that last communication between the two of us via WhatsApp, I found out that they were going to total the vehicle, and they were going to issue a check for, I believe it's 25,000. It might be a couple dollars more, but it's the $25,000 is the value that they say the vehicle is worth. And therefore, because I bought it as a gift for her, she deserves that.
That's consistent with the prenup.
All right, there's some caption on the screen here. It says, lady, you're making out pretty good for a 2-year marriage. I mean, I know you guys hear all this. That's why I'm not going over it again. This is just incredible selfishness beyond measure. You have an incredibly selfish young 20-something-year-old woman. But at the end of the day, it could be a lot worse for this guy. And I'm sure he understood there was an exchange here. And people are allowed to enter those type of contracts, whether they want to act like she's acting like that's not the type of agreement they entered in, right? That she's not providing her youth and her beauty in exchange for monetary compensation and labeling that a relationship. He understood that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten a prenuptial agreement, I'm sure. And she obviously understood that, even though she lied and says, I don't want people to think that I'm marrying you just because of your money.
Agreement, given that it was a car, it was a Mercedes that she chose to sell. Correct? And buy a Kia. Mr. Vera, has Ms. Gumliva collected her personal belongings from your house here in Michigan?
No, actually, that's what sparred all this fighting in court, was that she wanted to come get her car and her items at the house. And that's when I said that she's welcome to come get the items in the house, but there's an issue. And that's when I explained about the car. At no given point was she even concerned that myself and my daughter were almost hit by this guy. We were 25 yards from the car. Right away, it was more of a concern that I did this to hurt her and to get back at her, versus any concern on any safety. But when the issue arose that the car wouldn't be there, that's when all this spiraled down the ugly slope that it's at.
For those of you who may be lost, he got her a Mercedes. She didn't like the Mercedes, so he got her a Kia, and it got totaled, right? He got hit by another car. And apparently he was there standing next to the car with his daughter, or at least close enough that they could have been hurt. And he's like, she didn't even care if we were okay. She was just worried about this car. And she thought that maybe he hired somebody to hit the car on purpose, which I'm curious to know, why would she think he would do that, right? What's the benefit? And maybe I'm missing something here. We can talk to our AI assistant barista, Miss Coffee, and understand that. I don't know. Miss Coffee, real quick, what would the benefit be from a legal perspective? Is there something I'm missing? Why would she think that he hired somebody to crash into the car? Am I missing something here?
Great question, love. And no, you're not missing anything major. Let's break it down real quick from both the emotional and legal angle. Her accusation. She implied that he intentionally orchestrated the car crash, the Kia Seltos he bought her, as some sort of revenge or sabotage.
Right.
Miss Coffee's take. Why would she think that? Emotional manipulation. Claiming the crash was intentional could be her way of painting him as vindictive or abusive, possibly to sway the judge's view during asset division or gain sympathy. She's already trying to invalidate the prenup and claim more than she agreed to. If she can frame him as malicious, she might think that helps. Insurance money. The car was totaled and the insurance payout is $25,000. If she can claim he sabotaged the car, she might argue he shouldn't get any say in how that payout is handled, or push for additional damages. Emotional immaturity or cultural differences. She might just genuinely not understand how car insurance and liabilities work in the US, or she could be acting out of paranoia or frustration,
Right.
especially now that she's realizing she's not walking away with the American dream. From a legal perspective, her theory is weak, like zero evidence and complete speculation weak. To the court, the vehicle was jointly titled. He continued to insure it even after she left. The insurance company determined it was a total loss, not him. He offered the full payout to her and is even willing to place it in a trust. So if anything, he looks generous and she looks delusional or desperate.
Right.
Bottom line, this whole he crashed it on purpose theory, it's giving telenovela. She's pulling emotional levers, hoping the court might ignore the prenup or stall the process. But it's not working. The judge didn't buy it, and legally it holds no water. You're seeing clearly, love. She's just trying to make noise.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, that she would think that he had it crash. Maybe if I can think of anything, maybe she can argue that since it's in both of their names, that if they did award it to him overall, that he was thinking it would crash and then he would say, oh, you don't get anything. But I don't think that's the case. And of course, the judge isn't buying that either.
And you will have, and if we can get a court order to sign the title, then you will turn over a check for $25,000 to Ms. Guma, correct?
That's correct. I think I also indicated that I could send it to your office and you could
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. I'm happy to be the person.
But she's welcome to all her things. It's just I can send them to her.
Are they
Oh
valuable?
yeah. I mean, Deanna didn't. I treated Deanna good. I mean, she Saint Laurent leather coat, Burberry trench,
Right.
Christian Louboutin shoes. She's got a lot of nice. I bet just in those 3 items, it's close to $10,000.
My guy said I had her dripped out.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
I treat all my 304s well, he said.
And
they're all hers.
They're all hers. They're all packaged and ready for her. And they're in exactly the same state as she left them.
As of just recently, I moved them out of my closet into the spare bedroom closet, but they're still on hangers. They need to be packed up and sent. But I would be willing to send those to wherever she's living, or if she wants to come and pack them up herself and grab them, which I don't know why she would want that. I can make arrangements for her to meet Elba and them at the house, but I would prefer that maybe I don't know. It might be easier for her to look at them and pack them. So
Greedy chick.
Okay.
She raised her hand.
She raised her hand. Oh,
She seems to be okay.
okay.
Besides what we have described, was there any joint property that the two of you purchased during the 8 months that you lived together as husband and wife?
no.
Smart move.
Mr. Vera.
As a matter of fact, at that given point in time, I had sold my company, and I wasn't working the way that I should because the company wasn't paying for what they were supposed to, and I ended up having to take them to litigation. So therefore, I didn't work, and I haven't worked. So therefore, I haven't been able to really acquire any more assets after that time. So.
And looking at the judgment of divorce, in your opinion, is it consistent with the prenuptial agreement, given what we've talked about today, which I knew we would have to discuss?
Yes.
Okay. And do you consider the terms of the judgment fair and equitable?
Yes.
And at the time of the signing of the prenuptial agreement, did you and Ms. Gumliva consider the terms of the prenuptial agreement to be fair and equitable?
Yes. Stephen was given the opportunity to speak with counsel, Audra McClure, which she never reached out to be able to make sure that all this was fair for her.
And I have reviewed that email, Mr. Vera, so she did not follow up.
Wow, that was really smart on his end. Okay, so he told her that, hey, you could get an independent attorney to review this prenup and make sure that it's not unconscionable. And unconscionable is just like an agreement that's just so bad and so unfair that no one in their right mind would sign it. And he didn't have to actually get her to agree to get independent legal representation to review it. He just had to show that, hey, I was open to that, sent her an email. It was trackable. It was written. And that was proof enough that this guy was open to somebody else reviewing it. And you are okay. She probably said no because she didn't want it to be that much more solid and legally binding, that you had another competent attorney, expert attorney review it. But regardless, just him offering that showed that he proposed the prenuptial agreement in good faith. Guys, curious to know what you think. Let's keep listening.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions in regard to, it's really just procedural, but it's jurisdictional also. Were you a resident of the state of Michigan for 180 days prior to the filing of the complaint for divorce?
Yes.
Were you a resident of Kent County for 10 days prior to the marriage?
Yes.
And the filing of the, okay. Has there been a breakdown of the marital relationship to the extent that there is no reasonable possibility of reconciliation?
Yes, we tried counseling. It didn't work. So I just want Deanna to be happy. You know, I want her to move forward in life. She's smart. She's intelligent. She's beautiful. She can acquire anything that she wants that she sets her mind to. I want her to move forward. I couldn't make her happy. I don't want her to continue to live. And it's best that we move and separate. And I need to live my life. I'm 61 years old as of the 4th of May. And I need to move forward in my life as well and focus on a sick father, focus on my daughter, focus on my life. So
there we go. Pull out those heartstrings.
And I have to ask this question, but I guess we could ask Miss Gumliva because she's here. To your knowledge, is Miss Gumliva pregnant at this time?
No.
Another smart move.
I have a question that I did not ask earlier. During the marriage, did you provide Miss Gumliva with money to send to her parents?
From the time we met, I would give her monies. Let me say, not from the time I met her in December. She brought a lot of good to my life at that point in time, and
I bet she did. I bet she did.
She got sick a couple times. I made sure that I sent her medicine or sent her money to go to the doctors when she was in St. Martin. At that point in time, it was somewhere after her birthday, the 26th of May, that we decided, as a matter of fact, that's when I proposed to her. And we decided to make our relationship go. And during that time, I gave her monies to be able to pay for her rent because things were tight. It was COVID time. I also sent monies that I thought she was sending to her parents, only to find out that she hasn't had a relationship with her parents for years.
Dog. I guarantee you, man, there's a dude behind all this, bro. There's a dude behind all this, man. There has to be. There has to be some dude in Russia who's there like, take him to court. I want you to fight to the very bitter end. And this is probably what he does. Probably has multiple chicks. And they send the money back home, right, with sob stories. Truth is stranger than fiction. That's what I think. What do you guys think?
As well as I was sending money for her to pay off her mortgage in Moscow.
Wow.
Not to mention when she went out in October of 23, I don't remember if it was Uzbekistan or Azerbaijan. I had to fly her there so that way I could send her money to Western Union because of the sanctions on the Russian bank. I was also sending her money when she was living in Russia until the war happened and sanctions didn't allow me to send money through TransferWise or whatever it was called at the time. But yes, I took care of her when I told her that we were married, and I told her that when we got married, I didn't want to be divorced. And so we moved forward in that. And but evidently the monies that were being sent to Deanna for her parents never got to them. So
I don't have anything further at this time, unless the court has any questions. I believe the judge.
I do not.
Okay, thank you.
My only other remaining question would be whether or not we want to move on and address the motions, the other motions that were up for Thursday.
I'm happy to it. Is that the one about the court live streaming?
Yes, I believe there's, let me pull that up. Sorry, my technology is slow today.
I do have a question of him too.
Go ahead and ask the question while I'm looking this.
As we move forward and all that, I do know that I still have Deanna insured. I pay for her insurance and her cell phone. You know, once this is done, I need to know how to address. You know, she has the ability for Cobra, which she can pay.
He still does that?
But those are a couple things that I have continued to pay during the time of us being separated.
Wow.
I can answer those questions for
All
you.
right,
Okay.
hold on, Miss Quist. Could you repeat that, Mr. Vera? Maybe it's a little slower.
Since Deanna's been gone, I just need to figure out what's going to happen at the end of this. As I have continued to pay for her health insurance, her dental insurance, her vision insurance, her cell phone, during this time frame. And then once this is done and over with, I just need to know how to address that so that way she knows that she has to be responsible to pay for her own insurance because she gets Cobra and her own cell bill after that.
Crazy.
Understood.
Mr. Vera can help you with that when this is
Okay.
over. Okay.
Thank you.
And Ms. Quist, it looks to me, and I guess I'll ask Ms. Van Noller to confirm, but it appears to me, since we just dealt with the objection to the proposed order and the motion to enter the order, that the only remaining thing for Thursday is the motion to show cause that Ms. Gumleva has filed, and I believe that relates to unauthorized recording and publication of the court hearing.
Okay.
Let me just ask, Ms. Gumleva, do you agree that's the remaining motion?
I'm fine with addressing it.
Okay.
Что он сказал?
Can you repeat your question?
This chick has pretended the whole hour here that she has absolutely no idea what English is whatsoever. Only drinks tea.
No, I'll have a tea actually.
Doesn't understand a word of English. Incredible deception.
That the only motion left for Thursday at this point is the motion to show cause regarding the unauthorized recording and publication of the hearing.
She did not receive any notice about it. In her email, she did not receive anything.
You filed the motion and it was noticed up for Thursday. I understand.
She did not have official notice from the court, and she did not have a link for the Thursday meeting.
All right. Well, the question is, do we want to do that? Are you prepared to handle that today?
No, I'm not ready now. I want to do it Thursday. Yeah.
She's obviously trying to drag this whole hearing as long as she possibly can.
Okay. All right. Then is there anything further?
Есть ли что-то, что вы хотели бы продолжить?
Я? Сейчас?
Is a question for her?
No, it's for everyone.
Нет, это вопрос для всех.
I do have a question. Does Ms. Gumleva agree to sign the title so she can receive her check? If she does not, I would ask for a court order so that Mr. Vera can sign the title, because it has become an issue. There will be a check waiting for her for $25,000.
The only check she'll get.
She is not willing to sign the title until the process will be over. With the divorce, the process will be over, because 90% what she hears from Mr. Vera is not true, according to her.
Mr. Vera is receiving rather insistent communications regardless from the title company and the insurance company to get this done, regardless of how this ends. These mechanical steps must be taken.
Right.
Is it possible to get a court order to have this? I could take the $25,000 and put it in a trust account to be held for her. I don't mind. I'm just trying to wrap up as much as possible so that as we move forward, we don't have to keep going back.
Okay. That is reasonable. That is a very typical way of handling these things during the pendency of a divorce.
To translate, please. Which
Yeah.
is
Вы хотите перевести ту часть, которую
Да,
сказала?
да, 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 что сказала адвокат противоположной стороны.
Yes, she wants to go back and interpret for me to everything we just said.
So yes, I will grant. Oops, Mr. Vera.
I just Your Honor, they've been asking me since our divorce hearing on the 28th, I believe, of February. They've been bugging me monthly, and it's not just them; it's the salvage company. So I'm getting bombarded with both sides of it, and so
I will grant an order requiring that the title be signed, that the proceeds be put in Ms. Quist's trust account to be held until the final determination and distribution of the property in this case. Ms. Gumliva, signing the title does not mean you agree. It's just getting the insurance company and the salvage company and all of these other people out of the mix.
You want from her side, does she need to sign that title?
Yes, that argument would still be available to you if the default is set aside.
Before she signed any documentation, she would like to have consultation with her representative.
That's
No,
fine.
no,
That is always available to you, but I am entering an order today that title be signed immediately.
Thank you. So is the title going to be assigned to Mr. Vera, or is Ms. Gumliva ordered to sign the title immediately? I don't care which one.
Trying to think what would be the easiest way to resolve this. I think assigning it to Mr. Vera. That's what I'll order, that it be assigned to him, with the value being an open issue as far as the marital estate goes at this point.
Okay. And thank you, Your Honor. Will you be drafting the order, or do you want me to draft it?
I'd prefer that you draft it.
I will.
If you get it to me ASAP,
Okay.
I will sign it.
I'll get it to you within the next hour. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And we are adjourned, and we will see you on Thursday.
thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Straight to the comments here, guys. Top comment here reads, she doesn't want the YouTube world to know that she's a typical gold digger. So this commenter is referencing to the fact that the lady who runs this actual channel said that the first video they did covering the situation was taken down due to privacy concerns. But she can legally add her commentary to the video, which is why she decided to do a follow-up. To a lot of people who sit here and go, oh, we don't know what really happened. I'm telling you guys right now, that entitled young gold digging wife has a better chance at winning the lottery after everything we just saw than getting anything outside of the value of that totaled vehicle and car.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
The judge clarified that she signed the prenup. The judge also highlighted the fact that she was offered legal representation. Somebody else who says she didn't marry you for money, she married you for money and citizenship. Another person who says now the green card needs to be canceled and she sent back to Russia. Somebody else who says she was only married a few months and got a fully renovated house, a luxury wardrobe, and a new car. That's a pretty good lick. That is a pretty good lick. But it sounded like he was tricking from the very beginning, right? He was already helping her financially. They understood what this was. He understood what this was. This isn't probably the first time he's ever done something like this. Maybe the first time he's been driven to the courts to this extent, but most likely men, especially men who are in their later years and have disposable income and do value this type of relationships, they typically understand the game. Now, there is that select few of men who actually believe that the woman actually loves them for them, which of course is complete delusion. Somebody else here says she's a gold digger scammer and he finally got smart and said no more. He took care of her and she's realizing that's over. Another person here added, oh yeah, she wanted money and citizenship. She doesn't deserve a dime. Here's another person who says she is what happens when you let your little head make decisions. Somebody else who says, I get the impression the translator is thinking Diana was bonkers to let him slip. LOL. Here's somebody else that says the Russian mail order bride didn't work out. Check out this commenter who says she didn't like the Mercedes-Benz that he bought for her, so she wanted a Kia instead. Seriously? Somebody else who says it never ceases to amaze me that educated, wealthy men will fall for these scammers. It's just wild. Again, guys, for men who look at this and think, why would he do this? You have to understand that some people just value a whole different dynamic. I wouldn't agree to this. I don't think that this is healthy to any person's psyche. But at the end of the day, they're just some men who they love this type of dynamic in relationships. And some of them, they really get taken advantage of. But if they're smart, they're able to limit their losses via a prenuptial agreement. Again, I think the most dangerous type of man out here is a man with money who doesn't understand female nature, right? Doesn't understand that there are women out there who are willing to sell you a dream and convince you that they like you for you. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link into the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.